Welcome back to Arena the Contest. It's Flanks06 here. Just going to do a quick look at the Arena core box. This is actually the one from the original campaign, but it should be pretty close to the one that backers will be receiving here. Main point of this is just to give you an idea of what the trays are going to look like and kind of how to store components in them once you have everything punched out. So open the box here. We start off, we got our quick start guide, rule book, campaign tune, quest guide. We got the starting board. Going from the top tray here, we got the what I call the hero tray. Going to the next tray, I call the villain and PvE tray. And then finally, at the bottom here, we have the lowest level of the box, and this is kind of where you're gonna store a lot of those extra little components for building your maps and building your campaigns. So we'll go over that each section here next. Okay, starting off here with the lowest level, we have the kind of area where you're gonna store most of your tile tokens, your orbs that we have. We got the prisoner miniatures, we have the chess miniatures, and then we have a bunch of the tokens that are going to be used. It's kind of like the miscellaneous tokens where you have like doors, some of the health 70 plus type tokens, and then of course for these prisoners and other minor miniatures that are not going to be really part of every game or every playthrough. So you'll see here we got the core dragon here that will be included in every core box. So this section at the bottom here is specifically there to help you build your campaign. So Dragori, when I show this video, will have the official link, but this section here, I like to put my campaign cards here because I specifically use this location for building a campaign and playing through it. So I want to be able to access them the easiest way possible. So I have them divided basically about in half here, and then I go from there. Obviously you'll see the dice here, very simple of those dice. Now obviously the biggest challenge is how to put the tiles back in the best way possible. Okay, so it's kind of a process to be able to put these tokens back into the game trays in the correct way. So I'm going to do this video here to kind of help guide you in putting those tokens back so you can get playing a lot quicker. Okay, to start us off, we're going to start from the outside here in this smallest section. This section is going to be specifically for your door components. So start off by placing all your little mini doors. I believe that there is 4 of those to put. Then you'll have 2 big doors that will go on top. Moving on here to the next tray location, we'll be putting our switches tiles here. You'll be placing them in that middle section, and then you should have quite a big stack here of the portals and altars. You'll place those all right on top of those items. Next, we will go to the rune tokens. These rune tokens are used in quests. So you place those in that little section similar to the other small tiles, and then put the stair tiles on top of that. Okay, so now moving on to this bigger section right here. Try to think of it as putting the smallest items in first and then getting the biggest ones on top. So we're gonna put these 2x2 or 2x1 lava tokens down here in the bottom. Next, we will put the 1x3 lava tokens. There's a little niche here on this bottom side, and that will slide right into there. Next, we will take our big 3x3 tiles, place those right on top of those guys. And then lastly, we have our 2x4s lava tokens, and that goes right on top. All right, moving on to this tray here, right next to the dice, we're going to put our 4 rune slowing down tiles here. It's also a swamp on the other side. We're going to put those 4 in the middle there. Next, we're going to place our 2x4 swamp and stone tiles on top of those. Next is a little bit kind of funny, but this is apparently how they said to do it. You do the 2x2s, 2 on top of each other, and then 2 on top of each other on the other side, and then that is it. Okay, continuing our theme of smallest things first, we have 2x1s that go right in the middle here on this section. Moving next, we have the 3x1 walls that go right on top of those. There should be 4 of those, I believe. Then going next, we have our 5x1 wall tiles that will all be placed on top of that, and I believe there's 5 of those. And now the last component, which is a whole bunch of these 4x1 wall tiles that will all just get stacked neatly in this last spot, and that's it. That's all the items. We have our orbs over here, which are pretty easy to see, and then you can see that the prisoners all have very indentured type places there, so it should be easy to pop those in. And then of course, put your green dragon back in here. You'll notice that his face and his arm kind of have indents here that kind of fit with them, and then the wings curl around to the side, and that should wrap the bottom layer of the core box. Okay, moving on next to the villain tray, or the PvE tray that I like to call it as. You take off this top. I've already placed it on top here of the other items, so it'll just fit right down. So basically what I like to do is I like to store my boss pads in this indent right here, which is should be the same size as like the hero pads. Then how I like to store it is I store all of my boss attack actions, and I place those all in one place here. And then we have boss spells, which are specific to bosses when you're playing in PvE. We have our villain cards, which I like to put in here as well. Then evil powers, and then we have fate cards here at the bottom. Next, you'll notice that there is tokens here. All of these tokens are the boss and normal villain tokens. So all of your PvE related items go in there. Next, we have our flasks here that will all be used exclusively in PvE in the campaign. Then we have our level up cards that all get placed in this location. And then we have some of our artifact cards here, which primarily I use in PvE, but they can be used in PvP as well. Last thing to notice here is the Warlord miniature only fits in this location. All of the other miniatures, all the other standard miniatures here, and we got like the Sentinel, this is the Sniper, sorry. Sniper, Sentinel, and then the Soldier here. They can all be placed in any of these locations, and it's no problem. I also like storing their rings with them as well, just to kind of keep it all in that location. But the Warlord is the only one that has to be placed in that location. Anyway, that's it for the villain tray. All right, getting up to the hero tray here. This top section is the reference cards with the conditions. Those will sit on top along with all of our core heroes. Which I do actually normally put a lot of the expansion hero content all in this, so I don't have to dig through multiple boxes just to play PvP. It's a little easier to find all the hero stuff in one page. I've actually used these spots here to store bases, and then I know some people are going to be crazy about this, but this is how I store my hero tokens, because I just find it a little easier to have them all just in here, even though it's kind of messy, than to have them shoved into these spots and then have to like look at like 4 of them at a time and then see those are not the 4 that I want. It's just a little easier to have that here. Then I place my special tokens that we'll be using in this section as well. You'll notice these are all the core box heroes, the originals, because this is an original core box, not the reworked one that everyone will be receiving soon. So this is the reference card for the heroes. And then we have 2 decks here of hero attack cards. And then this last section here, I'll place scrolls and heroic actions. You could also replace the scrolls with the artifacts if you want. You may be able to place them all, but it's already pretty full at this point. So I'd suggest either you have your artifacts up here and the heroic actions, or your scrolls and heroic actions. One quick note I wanted to make about this tray is that actually Dragori even put the class symbols on each of the locations, so that way you know where your 2 heroes of that class sit. So we have tanks, tacticians, shooters, brutes, healers, and controllers there. And that's it for the hero tray. All right, last thing, put the game board back on top here. That's where I like to do it, with a little extra weight there. And then put the rule books back on top. And then last but not least, the top. And that's it. Just to note, the Arena Core box can store quite a bit of the expansion content in this one. It won't be able to hold quite of everything, so the new Legendary box should be able to help with that. But you could actually store everything in here if you really wanted to. You just have to use up that bottom layer, which would take up some of your campaign spots. Thanks for watching. See you at the